Hi, I'm Chris Tesarski, and for the last several videos, we've been going on a journey together through ESG, environmental action, social action, and action on corporate governance as it applies to our companies and our organizations as we continue to evolve here in our 21st century business climate. We're going to wrap up today, and so I want to talk to you though about how we in fact are going to go about turning the acronym into action. It's the title of our book, it's the title of the video series, and that's where we're going to talk about today. We need to now take what we've learned, take that acronym, and turn it into positive action. So first thing you can start to do is, well, how do we address ESG right now? Well, we're going to take a look at assigning an ESG lead. And that person needs to be assigned at an executive level. They need to report to the CEO and or the executive committee because it has to have buy-in from the executive suite. If it doesn't, this is going to be an issue. And obviously, we've talked a lot about involving our community and our stakeholders, but as our companies are going to evolve, we have to ensure that at the highest levels of the organization, there's complete buy-in to the direction that we're going to go as a company in terms of ESG. We've got to actively engage our community, and we need to create a more diverse workplace, which leads to community strength, which leads to us becoming a stronger, more vibrant organization that's able to respond to the needs that we see around us in terms of the social action that needs to be taken into account in our companies, and also the environment. All of that is going to have an impact right now, directly on our communities, on where we work, and on the people that are part of our team and our stakeholders. So it's critical that we actively and openly engage. This is something we can start doing immediately. Remember, we talked about the difference between having these 30-year targets with big opportunities and big things to shoot for. It's great. People call that a moonshot now. But what we need to do, as we discussed, is look at the 30-day plan. Look at how we start to execute things immediately so we can begin the process of taking action on ESG. This is one of them, by actively engaging right off the bat. We have to determine also in terms of ESG, maybe we didn't even think about it, call it ESG. It was always something else, but we've had some wins, we've had some environmental successes, we've been a leader in our community, but we've also made some mistakes, we've fallen short, and so what we need to do is really give ourselves the ESG scorecard. It's something that you go through as a company, as an organization, where you really assess what your initiatives have been to date, you look at your successes, you look at your rates of success, but you also take a look at the actions that still need to be taken in terms of those times when maybe we didn't quite measure up. That's really critically important if we're going to evolve and change and really take immediate action, turn that acronym ESG into action. We have to take a look at the initiatives from the past, but also what we've failed at maybe and where we're going to go in the future, and set realistic expectations in terms of that. Now, you have to determine as well positive initiatives, like I said, that you can act on immediately. We call those IOIs, immediate opportunity for impact. And so we have to look at what the greatest opportunity for us to make immediate impact in terms of ESG is. And that's, like I say, going to involve buy-in of the team, buy-in of the stakeholders, and collaboration and discussion immediately with the community which we find ourselves in. Look, we've talked about greenwashing. It's pretty simple. Don't do it. Proliferation of social media. We've discussed that throughout our video series as well. Initiatives have to be accompanied by ongoing metric and evidence of results. Why? Because of social media. We know that because of that, people in the community, the public, internet is full of the stories. Often they may not be true, but what has to happen is if people can look for information that doesn't add up to the message that you're giving, they're going to start to think that you are looking at greenwashing. Don't do it. It's a simple thing not to do, and we just have to be transparent and honest about our operations and make sure they match to our actions. Easier said than done often, but it's something we got to work on. Revise and revisit all your contracts and your policy documentation. That starts today. We have to go through it, and a lot of our agreements are going to be just fine. A lot of our contracts are going to be fine, but the ones that aren't, the ones that need to be reflective of a new commitment to ESG, they need to be changed, and that's the G part. That's where governance comes in. We talked about that, and so we need to make sure that our policies, our documentation, our handbooks, the way we conduct ourselves, all those things are going to be in keeping with our direction we're taking in terms of ESG. So here's the conclusion. We can't just talk about diversity, we have to make it happen. And the way we do that is by building a vibrant organization that's committed to the principles of ESG. We have to be involved in our community, really important. We need to be there, we need to be present. We need to know people around us in the community and our stakeholders, all the different groups, they need to know that we are there and that we're serious about our commitment to the community. We need to be leaders as well, not followers. We need to be the ones leading. We need to be out in front. And hopefully by us getting out in front, others will want to get out in front. And now we see a real movement that can begin to take hold in our different industries or our operations. We now can have an impact on our community, but also on our peers too. That's really important because the more we're working together, the more opportunities we have to really create that positive environment. I already said it, no greenwashing. The public is going to find out eventually on Google, Dr. Google as they call it. Be transparent. That's the best way to make sure that you're effective in developing your company and your organization's response to ESG. It's a great opportunity for us to do business differently. And it's an exciting years ahead. There's so much potential for us in terms of the environment and social action and the way we can evolve our companies. I really think that there's a lot in store for us as we explore ESG. And I know that you've been committed to the video series, so you're going to want to incorporate that into your life, but also into your corporate life as well. That's exciting. So how can we help you at the Power Start Group? How can we help you address ESG? Well, we have the ability to provide on-site ESG and HSE training and advisory services, and we can provide online course material as well for you to help you in your ESG journey. And obviously there's the book, ESG, Acronym to Action. You need to get yourself a copy of that. That's the companion to this video series. But most importantly, we have to think of our response to one another as being a community. We're all able to contribute because we all want to do this together to make things better for all of us. That's really at the very heart of ESG, isn't it? We've had that discussion many times. The heart of ESG really comes down to community. The actions we take on the environment, on social issues, and on our corporate governance really comes down to community. I'm Chris Tesarski. I'm committed to this land. I'm committed to building a strong and vibrant community. And I know the work and the effort that it takes to do that. You've been with us on this video journey and you're committed to it too. Keep up with that. ESG, Acronym to Action. It's time for all of us to take action on these things. And I know that you will. Check us out at powerstart.com and get in touch with me. If you want to talk about how to turn that acronym into action, we're ready to help your organization. Thanks so much for being with us. Trust this has been really helpful for you. And it's been sure helpful for me as well as I've gone through it to present this video series to you. Take care. And remember, ESG, Acronym to Action.